right, well, good morning, everybody. It is November the 20th, 2025, and I'm on my way on to do some subpoena services for the NAPS organization, or for me, really, but and get justice done, get the word out. That's what this is all about, getting the message across. The court needs information to try to get to a truth, you know? And I want to talk about economics this morning. Before I do that, though, you know, I'm driving around on the roads. It's about 6:15 in the morning, and I gotta tell ya, I'm nearing Willimantic, Connecticut, and I got there's so many cars on the road. It's 6:15 in the morning, and if I look at the flow of traffic around the roads, we're talking 6 even earlier, at 6 even, right up till 6 o'clock hour, even up till now. There are honestly more cars driving up and down the roads than there would be in a typical 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, literally, there's no difference between the traffic flow, volume-wise, on the roads at 6 o'clock in the morning than at 2 o'clock in the afternoon anymore. And even on Saturdays at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, believe it or not. Just more traffic than I've ever seen before. I think that the nocturnal part of man, or I know nocturnal means like you're up at night, sleep all day. I don't even know what the word for if you're not dayturnal. I mean, I'm pretty good vocabulary. That one escapes me. What's the word for? Somebody message me or something. I wasn't even listening. What's the word for the opposite from nocturnal? A day flyer or whatever. Regular. It's got to be a word for it. I'll have to look it up one of these days. Later on, I'll look it up. But I want to talk about economics. And I know what I'm talking about when it comes to economics because, you know, I was, after all, the economics student of the year at Manchester Community College in 1992. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to economics, supply and demand, and the flow of money and whatnot. Time, value of opportunity, whatnot, opportunity cost, blah, blah, blah. I know all about that stuff instinctively. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to economics, and I also know what I'm talking about when it comes to communication and media. And I got to tell you right now, Fox News can't be trusted. They're slowly but surely slipping into a CNN kind of mentality. They're doing it sly-like. As Rupert Murdoch gets older and his kids take over who are liberals. Here's my point. To call it, I was watching Fox News this morning, to call this an affordability crisis at this stage of the game is absolutely a slam attempt on Trump and on the MAGA movement. It's an absolute slam on American ideals. It's a very sly, slickery attempt to slander, really, the MAGA movement, to slander making America great, to hurt our country. Calling it an affordability crisis right now? Now? The numbers are clear. No, prices haven't come down much. I get that. And it's gone up in a couple things. But overall, inflation's under control. The numbers don't lie. The numbers are about 1 or 2%. They're not increasing at any high rate like they were under Biden. Trump has basically stopped the thing from getting worse. And that's the truth. We had eggs going through the roof. Trump brought the prices way down on that. The truth of the matter is, we are deporting a lot of illegal immigrants, and it is creating a little bit of a labor board in some places, which is why we've had to buy beef from Australia. Some of the things Trump's doing right now, temporary patches. And people need to understand it takes time for things to get into gear. And don't expect prices to go plummeting down to where they were in 1990s again, or even the early 2000s again. That's ridiculous. Just because of human nature and just the nature of capitalism, and prices are going to come plummeting down. They're already under control, and they're high. I get it. There are things that are going to bring food costs down. We're doing things that are going to help bring the cost down. They will come down because of pure capital economics and all that money that we talked about is being invested in this country. It's going to result in prices being under control. And I think what you're going to see really more than prices come plummeting down is you're going to see your income go up. And your income's going to go up without the prices going up with it. It's to catch up with the inflation. Really, that's what's behind it. I wish that they would communicate that more. That's really what's behind. the essence of Trump's plan. When I say they should communicate it more, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I'm starting to wonder, and I'll talk more soon about my stalling run for Congress against John Larson. Having a terrible time getting this thing off the ground. There's a lot of pessimism in this state. Some of the people I think would have helped me the most are either just burned out on it or just, I don't even know. I don't want to get into details. I was ghosted, literally, by my own, disrespected, I will even say, and ghosted by my own potential campaign manager. I'm not going to say who it is. And I don't know why. It's discouraging as all hell. I haven't given up, but I may have to shift gears here. I'm starting to think. I've been going around telling people I'm running Lance Larson. It feels like I want to get this right out in the front. I don't want to feel like be someone that's not doing what I'm saying I'm going to do, you know. I haven't filed yet or anything like that. I really want to do this. But as a regular guy, a regular dude like me, with limited political connections, I've certainly have shook a lot of hands and met a lot of people this year, and I now have some, I think, political connections with some pretty good people. But boy, so it really is a slippery slope, this political game thing. It's crazy. And as a regular guy like me, I haven't said this before too much because I honestly, the two key ingredients necessary for me, I have to, look, I'm a smart guy, I'm not stupid, but I know I am inexperienced in this. And that's what we need is people that are inexperienced in it. But however, being inexperienced does mean I'm not 100% privy to every slippery slope, every rule, which I could take the time to learn, no doubt about it. And I've been advised to do that. But the thing is, I'm an investigator full time. I have a business to run. I have responsibilities and a lot to do, and only so much time to do it. So really, I think let's say I want to start an airline. I want to start a new airline to go against United Airlines, say, right? Well, and I know nothing about airlines. I'm smart enough to put together an airline, but I know I need at least one or two people that know about the airline business. I can't just do it blindly. And that's what I'm saying here, okay? I need a treasurer, and now I'm going to say this. Smart money person, I think that's easy to find, but I really need a manager who's been through the ringer before. If you've run for office and lost, if you've managed campaigns before and lost, and you want to help me, I know what to do. I really know what to do, but it's a matter of finding the human resources. There goes that word for you, human resources here. And I'm discouraged in that area right now. There's a couple individuals I won't name that I know that I'm going to talk to that, you know, but at any rate, I have another plan. I'm shifting gears maybe here. If the Congress thing doesn't work out, I think I have something that might even be better. When I was a boy, I said two things I wanted to do. One was be a private investigator like Jim Rockford, and the other one was be a broadcaster for the Boston Red Sox, do play-by-play for the Sox. I still want to do that. That'd be cool. Even just one inning would be the coolest. That'd be major cool for me personally. Obviously, that didn't happen. I didn't become that. But that's all right. It is about broadcasting and journalism, though. And so I might be shifting gears toward a little bit more of that. And I don't want to get into details because I've been told that I do tend to talk about the things I want to do, and then people think I'm going to definitely do it. And there are so many things I want to do. I've always been like that. My mind's always worked like that. So many things I want to do. But so I think human resources is really the word. I could do lots of different things with the right people. So come forward and let's be friends. I know I've met some great people, and I'm going to reach out to them, and I'm going to do more podcasting for sure. There's so many people doing it. Everyone's got a freaking podcast, you know? But I think mine's going to be a good one. I think mine's going to be interesting to watch, and I think it's going to be part of Connecticut Common Sense, of course. The thing we started about 1 year ago, this week, in 1 year. But you know what? I'm getting off the topic, see? Affordability. People need to be patient with the economics. I guess I said what I had to say about it. But the bottom line is, be patient with Donald Trump. The polls say that, I saw a poll that said 62% to 32%, that's pretty deep, are basically saying it's because of Trump. that we're in the current economic state that we're in. And that poll is being laid out there like it's for Trump, right? But I would vote with the 62%. Of course the economic state we're in is because of Trump. And it's not great right now, but hopefully if they took another question, which they won't, and asked them, do you believe that Trump will prevail in the end? That will be okay. Hopefully people are still saying yes to that. And if they're not thinking it through. I urge you to look at it yourself. Look at the numbers yourself. Biden is not to blame anymore. Trump is all of a sudden. Well, of course he's responsible for the condition we're in. And the condition we're in isn't great for inflation, but it hasn't gone up. I haven't seen prices go up dramatically in the grocery stores over the last year. They haven't gone down. Yes, they haven't gone up. So please. The jobs that are going to come out, the high-paying jobs are going to come out everywhere. I think the biggest problem we have is AI. It's going to take over jobs. And people are not motivated to work because they've been encouraged not to for years under Biden. They want wars of the state. It's really, really bad. We have a real battle on our hands. Marxist economics versus capitalist economics, which is that's a fightable, that's something we're fighting for. You can't let Marxism set in. I don't know what the hell's going to go on with the meeting between Mondami and Trump at the White House. I think Trump's a fool to invite him there. Although, I think dialogue's always good, I guess. Well, I'm sure Trump will have the upper hand in that conversation, but here's my thing. I make sure Mondami doesn't poison your fucking tea or something while he's there. I'm not kidding. Or one of his people. Be very careful about security. Mondami's not there to work with Trump. He would see Trump dead. Mondami thinks New York and America deserve 9/11, okay? That's the bottom line. He's not going to say that now. But if you look into it enough, the people that are the closest to him certainly believe that, and they certainly part of it. Is there any evidence that he was a big rebel against these people in favor of moderation? No. We can't treat this thing with kid gloves. For all of those of you who, hopefully more people will watch these things, I think for all of those of you who are involved in trying to help Connecticut or are discouraged and want to quit, shame on you. Just keep up the fight. I don't mean to be mean like that. Keep up the fight. This is where it's all going to come to a head. We got a guy in the White House that is fighting on our behalf, on the people's behalf. And Fox News is not helping. Fox News is to call it an affordability crisis at this point. It wasn't an affordability crisis under Biden, just inflation, yeah. Now it's a crisis all of a sudden. Was there this sudden spike in food over the last 2 or 3 months that warranted this crisis? And energy costs are going way up. It's because of Democrats. How come we don't point out, Mark Levin pointed out brilliantly, that it's the blue states where the affordability is out of control. Red states, yeah, everything's expensive, but the red states are more affordable than the blue states. The numbers don't dictate that. You can see it on a Sunday night at 8 o'clock when everybody else is doing something else with Mark Levin. I don't know what kind of ratings he gets, hopefully high ones. He's a great dude. He really points it out, lays it out. Watch Mark Levin on Fox. He's the only guy I trust on that freaking station anymore, honestly. There's others I like. I like Gutfeld. There's a lot of others I like. But I don't like the overall message. Whoever's typing that crap on those little headlines they put, little newspaper, that's what those are, little newspaper headlines they put at the bottom of the screen all day long on Fox and CNN or whatever. And that goes a long way. Those are headlines on television. Oh, how's Trump going to address the affordability crisis? Oh, they're blaming Trump. So Trump brought on an affordability crisis? Is that what the message on Fox is now? That's despicable. It's despicable. And it's not true. So watch out for Fox News. I'm with Caitlin Bennett. Don't watch Fox News. Maybe I should stop watching it. I want to keep an eye on it, though. They are providing still a lot of good, balanced information for the most part. But slowly but surely, I'm seeing crap like that. Whoever's doing that headline should be fired. Affordability crisis. Let's start a whole new crisis for Trump to deal with. That is completely... You know what? The numbers don't even when the numbers do improve next year, it's not going to get reported that way. We got big problems. We got so many people on the inside. I did a post on Facebook earlier. A judge, and on other sites too, in California released 2 murderers or suspected murderers that were gang members. You know, you can hold those guys without bail for a while while you figure out if they're a danger or not. He didn't hold them without bail. He released him without bail. He didn't say, oh, $100,000 bail, something to make him, a what? A murder suspect? Imminent murder suspects that are gang members? Just letting him go? That judge is in the gang. Sorry, he's in the gang. But no one's going to say that on freaking the news. He's in the gang, man. No, he's not an ordained member, but he's certainly paid off. You don't let a suspected murderer out of jail on a promise to appear. Oh, it's a PTA. He's already a gang member. He's been in jail before even. Wasn't like this first-time offender thing either. His basis is that he did it all on flight risk. That's insane. It's absolutely insane. Anyway, I'm going to have to go. I got work to do. I got subpoenas to serve. We got dots to connect for justice so people can get to the truth in court, which is the way the American way works. I love this country. I want to talk so much about this country. We're going to do a lot of that while we drive around and we expose corruption. We're going to do some hard hitting. I don't want to say, it's going to cost me a lot of money to do this, so I have to make sure I can do it. I think I can. I know I can. I know what I can do. I know I can do whatever I want. But it means I have to, give up investigation time. So it's a risk. It means really starting another business to get involved with investigative journalism, or even to run for office. I could run for Congress and do full-time investigations. I have to pawn it off to somebody else. That's another big. I was willing to do that, ready to do that. I'm still going to do that, actually. I am going to turn my attention. I'm going to continue to investigate, continue to have my company go. But just like Trump turned his thing over to his family, I'm going to turn mine over to my trusted colleagues, at least. My kids aren't really that interested in investigations. I think one of them is, but she's got kids, so she's busy. Got small children, my little grandchildren, so she can't really do it. But I think maybe someday her. But I have to put the brains behind this business as an investigator into the hands of someone else, so I can focus my brains more on everything I've done since last year. Last Thanksgiving was when all this started for me. Everything I've done has been on extra time after my work is done, after my full-time job. So for those of you that say, oh, I did a full-time job, can't get involved. Well, you know what? I know it's hard to stay motivated. If you're younger and you got the energy, we really need regular people to step up and start a grassroots movement. And I'm going to say this for the first time, or maybe the second time, I don't know. If you are good at management skills even, and you want to fight back and you want to help me run a campaign, then, let's reach out, let's talk. Everybody's giving me, I'm getting a lot of passive support, but I need active support from people. And it's a matter of trust, too. That's why I haven't been reluctant to make direct appeals to people for something like this. Because anyone who comes forward, I'm going to have to vet out, make sure I can trust them. Moles, the Marxists bring in moles. They bring in slime. They bring in undercover. They consider conservative values to be abhorrent and illegal, essentially. That's why they prosecute Trump and why they do the things they do. They know it's not illegal, but they make it that way. They treat it in a fight. It's an all-out war. There's no rules. They'll send in moles. So if I thought you were a criminal organization, I was a cop, I would send in undercover cops. That's what they do. They send in undercover campaign helpers and undercover candidates and undercover everything, undercover reporters, undercover teachers, undercover professors. That's why we have so many problems in our colleges. It's really bad. We have to understand it for what it is. It's time for real stories to come out. And you can't just take my word for it. That's why I need to spend a lot of money if I got to start another business and shift gears away from investigations a little bit more. Not taking my eye off it, but letting other people run it, the day-to-day stuff, the stuff I'm doing right now, running subpoenas, so I can do other things. I'm on my way to New London to do one, then I got one to do in Montville, and I got two to do in Willimantic, and one to do in Mansfield today. And then I'm heading home for a short break and to reassess things, and then I'm gonna head to my office, and then we'll see from there. There's lots to do. Tomorrow night, I'm going to see the Boston Celtics. I'm getting something off the bucket list. Yeah. I'm going to see the Celtics play in the NBA Cup against Brooklyn Nets. Yes, I'm a sports fan. It's a good distraction. I can get into that too. Sports, political. Everything's political at the end of the day. It can be made political. Sports can be made political too. I choose not to do that. I'm not going to get political with sports. I was going to enjoy the games. Whatever, they're rigged or not. I don't know what the outcome is. I don't know when the game starts who's going to win. I'm just going to pretend. Honestly, it is the one area where I pull the wool over my own eyes a little bit. Just enjoy the fucking game and just root for my teams. I'm a Red Sox fan. I'm a Patriot fan. Great that the Patriots all of a sudden on top again. I love rub. I have a couple of friends I got to go visit so I can rub that in. I know a particular Giants fan. I won't say who this person is. That has been agonizing over. Even though the Giants did beat us in the Super Bowl a couple times, they still hate the dominant. I actually know a Steeler fan would be more fun with to do that because we've put the Steelers out of their misery a couple of times over the years. And a Dolphins fan I know too. Even now that I think about it, I just got to hang out with these people a little, get together with them and catch up on the old times and stick it in. Stick it in their face about the Patriots being good again so quickly. Back to the top. No mercy, baby. I love sports. So I know the NFL is run by a bunch of crackpot left wingers. I get that. I do. But I'm gonna choose to overlook that so I can just enjoy. I have to enjoy something. Jesus. I enjoy life in general. I do, but I have to have the distraction. Sports is that one of them. Music too, of course. My ukulele. Yeah. I know I'm no, pop star, but it's fun. It's fun to play. I don't really care if it's good or not. It's fun to play. And when I'm playing that, I'm not thinking about other stuff, My mind is always thinking about things. Anyway, we're getting to an area now where I got a program where I'm going. So I'm going to let this go. We're going to make the rest of this ride here. Gas prices are going down too. Let me throw that in there. So it's all media. It's a media blitz. And unfortunately, Fox is turning, so I'm gonna have to go to Newsmax. Maybe I don't really know. I have to look. I watched them a lot during the summer too. I was flipping back and forth. Lately, I've been more on Fox again. I think I watch Caitlin Bennett now a little bit. She's great. I think she should. She said I don't watch Fox News. I watch a lot of other sources, and so do I. But what's on the TV in the morning when I'm not watching other stuff. I like to watch game shows sometimes. That's a little distraction. But I don't have time to do that stuff. That's the thing. I have to have some downtime. Everything's about balance in life. If you don't have balance, where would I put myself on the spectrum? I think center right, not center. Like just right, but not heavy right. Like if 100 was hardcore right and 0 was hardcore left, I'd be at a 57 or 60 or something, That's where we need to be in America. Got to have conservative values, but we have to leave the door open for some kind of social programs for people who truly need them, though. But the problem is, power-hungry politicians use that portal to try to indoctrinate and imprison as many people as possible because it makes for votes. If you're dependent on somebody and they scare you into saying you're not going to, we have people still walking around saying, Trump, don't touch my Social Security. Give me a break. Who's ever messed with the Social Security? I'm not against Social Security, frankly. I think if we had never started it, that would have been better. That was one of the first socialist movements, actually. That's why it's Social Security. It's a bad idea at the time. Now we're stuck with this. So many people are dependent on it. If we could turn it over, I would say turn it over to the private sector for higher returns. You'll get more money, but they demonize that. That's called economics. Again, capitalism is undoubtedly the best way to handle governments in large societies, any society really. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The only time socialism would ever work is in a situation like, say, Cinderella's village where she lived. Excuse me. The king, right? And the queen, and the Cinderella, If you have a small village or town, say, that's totally independent, and it's run by a family of royalty or whatever, that has the socialist power of the purse to redistribute wealth or whatever, and that family happens to be very small and dealing with a very small number of people, maybe 1,000 or less, or 10,000 or less maybe, and they're totally able, like town size, like regular town size, and they're totally able to redistribute that wealth benevolently, and they do so. Tight thing, and everybody kind of thrives on it. Of course, everybody be respected. It's like that's what communism is. It's not a commune. Everybody expected to contribute something to it. Whether it be farming the food or making the cell phones or whatever. You wouldn't be making cell phones in a small town. But my point is, in a world where the leaders could be very small number and benevolent, known to be benevolent, and assured that they'll remain that way with some type of a check, minimal check on it, then you could have a communist Like if you want to go into the woods, this is what happens. A lot of these hippies and young people, they go into the woods, they live a little commune lifestyle in the woods somewhere, or in a small little place, village or whatever. And it never really works out because they end up infighting, and it usually always erupts into shit. But sometimes if the people that are running it are really good, actually mean well, and not just trying to control the people there, that's what happens. Most of the time these communes are run by people who are just looking to control other people, and that becomes apparent, and it never works. But there are instances of small communes in the wilderness or in the countryside or whatever that do work because they're run by good, strong, benevolent people that want to do well and blah blah blah, and want everybody there to do well. I've seen evidence of that. And it works for a time. Usually, eventually, it falls apart because the people that do well, it can work for quite a while, actually. As long as the people that run it do well, it can work for a lifetime even. But eventually, the people that run well die off, and then or get old, and new people come in. Sometimes those new people aren't so. They say, "Oh, I can take advantage of this," and then it falls apart eventually. That's why it really never even works in small situations. However, it can work for quite a while in very small situations like that, or like in a Cinderella story. You know, with a little village, like the really jolly little St. Nicholas like type Santa Claus type king and queen. That's what you get when you read Cinderella, right? The problem is Cinderella is a fantasy. It is not real. It is a fairy tale. So it doesn't. Communism and socialism as a practice don't work. It will make people suffer. Don't fall into Madami's crap. Capitalism, while not perfect, is by far the only way to make a good, strong middle class. We got to talk over and over about this while we expose the corruption in Connecticut. That's the plan. And I am still looking to run for Congress against John Larson. However, I can't do it alone, man. I'm going to have to let this go because we are getting close to my first destination. I got to map it out here. Soon, hopefully, I want to have the technology so I can have it. I know I already probably have it somewhere. For me, I can do technology, run technology. Getting it set up and installed, that's not something I want to spend my brain capacity on. I want someone else to do that for me. We're looking into that. So I want to be able to map things out while I'm talking, you know. So now I got to shut it off in order to do that, you see. In theory. Anyway, God bless Connecticut. God bless America. And oh, by the way, check out our podcast later with Selena. It's going to be recorded later today, probably posted at night. We have a very special guest. She will introduce the guests. Selena, we're going to continue with Connecticut Common Sense and hopefully expand Connecticut Common Sense. That's really what I want to do here because common sense needs to spread. The more craziness, stuff I didn't even expect. Anyway, I got to run. Anyway, have a great day, everybody. God bless Connecticut. God bless America.